Hey, how's it going? Xander Fryer from Shit You Don't Learn in College here, and today we're going to talk about the 3 easy ways to start to become an entrepreneur and turn your social media followers into dollars. Now more than ever, everybody's realizing that the safe bet being in a 9-to-5 is actually not that safe. Maybe you were let go, maybe you knew some people that were let go, maybe you were put on furlough, maybe your income was lowered so that certain businesses could make sure to continue to pay you while you were in your 9-to-5. The reality is the economic crisis that's been going on for the last 12 to 18 months has severely impacted so many different people, and everybody's starting to realize, hey, we need to take ownership over our own financial future, and we can't be fully reliant on somebody else paying us every single month to make sure that we can pay our bills and put food on the table. Well, here's the deal. Now more than ever, it has never been simpler to become an entrepreneur, get online, and start to establish your own means of financial income. Notice how I said simpler, not easier, because it might be simple now thanks to social media, but not necessarily easy. We still have a lot of things to overcome, things to make sure that they happen for us to be successful in generating our own income, especially from social media. So what I want to do is I want to share with you 3 different ways that you can get online, start to become an entrepreneur, and generate money from your social media following today. And I'm going to dig into my favorite one and why it can be so powerful, and really digging in. And I've been able to make over $5 million in this space without putting any of my own capital up front to invent a product. So we'll dig into that now. So the first business system that I want to talk about is network marketing and MLMs. Now, if you're watching this, there's actually a decently high percentage chance that you're either in a network marketing company or an MLM company, or you have been in one before. This is actually where I see a lot of entrepreneurs start out. Now, there's several reasons for this. There's several pluses about network marketing and MLMs. The first and foremost is it's an incredibly low barrier to entry way to get into entrepreneurship. Often, you don't have to invest a bunch of time, you don't have to invest a bunch of money to be able to get up and running. It's got systems that are already built for you. It's got products that are already built for you. So if you can find a product that you really resonate with, you can start to become an entrepreneur and generate your own income on the side pretty damn quickly. So there's a lot of pluses and a lot of draws to network marketing and MLMs, but there's some negatives too. So some of the negatives of network marketing and MLMs, first and foremost, is actually the same thing as one of the positives: low barrier to entry. Now, I have worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, and like I've mentioned in many of my videos, people who pay attention. Because of MLMs and network marketing being so low barrier to entry, there's actually a significant number of people that see 0 to very, very minimal success because they're not fully invested and committed to making it happen. The reality is, if you spend $50,000 to start a business, you're gonna be personally really accountable, involved, and making sure that it works. If you spend 50 or 100 bucks to get into a business, probably a lot less involved and a lot easier to, jump out the back door when it first starts. So the first issue is actually one of the positives, which is such a low barrier entry to get into it. Now, on top of that, there's a couple of things that you need to consider. The low percentage of people in network marketing that actually succeed. For every one person that makes it to the 6-figure or 7-figure mark, there are thousands that never make anything or barely make anything. So the reality is, network marketing for the majority of people will not be that thing that breaks them away from the 9-to-5, right? The other thing that I want everybody to consider is, and it's the truth, network marketing has a really negative stigma. So when you're tying your personal brand to a network marketing company, and every network marketing company says, this isn't network marketing, it's direct sales or something else, right? In the end, if it has a company organization that looks like this, like a pyramid, it might be an MLM or a network marketing company. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you do need to be aware that if you're tying your personal brand to a network marketing company, you forever become synonymous with that company, right? And it can be social suicide for you. Even for the people that have been wildly successful in network marketing. I had a buddy of mine that made over $1 million a year in network marketing, and then literally, he did that for about 5 years, and then literally 1 year, the company disappeared. His entire life and his entire business was gone in a moment because he was tied to somebody else's future. So that's something that you want to think about. So even the people who are wildly successful in network marketing, they have a lot of concerns being tied to somebody else's brand as well. But that's number one. Now, the second business model that I want to talk about is what's referred to as e-com or e-commerce. This is going to be where you're selling a physical product. Now, you could start off as simply as, putting some handmade goods together for Etsy, or you can get more complicated and have some manufacturing and be selling direct sales through newsletters or ads or Amazon and all of those things. Now, there's some really cool pros to the e-com space that I want to talk about. And the first is scalability. Obviously, if you're not making singular handmade goods for Etsy, but when it comes to actually starting to scale on things like Amazon and direct sales, you can scale e-com companies to the moon. One of my really good buddies started an e-com company about 3.5 years ago, and he's in the middle of discussing sales for anywhere between $300 to $700 million right now. So e-com companies can scale really, really quick, really, really far because of their ability to get to mass markets. But there are some negatives, some drawbacks of e-com. First and foremost, a lot of the time you have to have some capital to invest up front. If you're gonna have to go figure out manufacturing or the actual operations line to actually get this thing together, often you might have to have tens of thousands of dollars or maybe even $100,000 to really get an e-com company up and running. Or at least you're gonna have to invest thousands just to get some drop shipping settled for you to get started, right? But eventually you're gonna wanna move towards manufacturing, you're gonna wanna put a bunch of money capital back into it. Now, the negative part about this as well is e-com, for it to grow properly, is very capital intensive. What this means is during the years of growth, you won't see a lot of cash flow. For example, right, if you have a growing e-com company, you start out with $100,000 worth of goods and you sell it for $400,000, well, what do you do with that $400,000? You don't take the $300,000 profit and keep it. You take that $300,000 and now you go buy more goods. Right? So the reality is, for you to invest in an e-com company that's going to grow, you're gonna have to take your profits and invest back in the company for it to grow to the point of selling. So during the years of the growth, you're not actually gonna see a ton of cash flow. My buddy who's in the middle of selling his business, still lives like he's making about $50,000, $60,000 a year, even though he's about to be a multi-millionaire, right? So during the years of the business, you don't see a lot of cash flow and you don't have the lifestyle you really want. Which brings me to my third business model and my personal favorite, which is online services. Now, this is the space that I started my business in. I started in online coaching as a life coach, grew that to obviously coaching other coaches in business coaching, and we've now been able to make millions of dollars. We have a $5 million business right now that is growing, and we're able to have all of these things that we've wanted, but we started with very, very little. Because the barrier to entry to get into the online services space is about this big, right? For you to start an online coaching, consulting, or services business, you don't have to have a ton because you yourself are the product. So you don't have to invest in manufactured goods. You don't have to invest anything. Really, all you need is your iPhone and a social media account and some other apps, and you're totally good to go. So you don't need a ton to really get up and running. So low barrier to entry is extremely powerful. The second part of this is it can be an incredibly cash flow friendly business. Now, when I first started my coaching business, it took me about 3 or 4 months to figure it out, but my 4th month into it, I made $13,000. Then I made 17, then 24, then 32, then 42, right? And a high majority of that was profit because I didn't have to go pay for physical goods. I just had to scale my delivery, right? So that's really, really powerful when a high majority of the cash flow that you're bringing in actually stays with you as profit rather than having to go back into the business and other manufactured goods, right? And the last part, and my favorite part about the online services space, is that you can be in a business of passion, right? So if you're passionate about helping people, you can get into coaching. If you're passionate about health, you can get into the health space or the fitness space. If you're passionate about editing videos and creating really, really intense connection with your art, then you can get into videography, right? These are all things for you to get deeply into and scale your business, and you can be really passionate about it. So not only can you make money, but you can do something that lights you up inside. Now, these businesses all sound great, but let me tell you, there are some downsides as well. The biggest downside to this business, number one, is it's not as scalable as, let's say, an e-com business where you're gonna scale it to $500 million or $1 billion. But the real problem with this is that you are the product. Now let me explain, right? If you had a yoga mat as a product and you put that yoga mat on Amazon, and that yoga mat got a couple of 2-star reviews, you go, okay, let me go read those reviews. Let me figure out why these people didn't like this yoga mat. Let me go make some adjustments. Let me go make some changes and we'll fix it and we'll have version 2.0 out and we're good to go, right? Well, what happens if you are the product? Your service is the product. Your coaching, your services, your fitness regimens are the product. What happens when somebody gives you a 2-star review? That stings, doesn't it? That hurts. And that's one of the reasons that most online services businesses do not grow, is the fear of getting a 2-star review, the fear of being not good enough when you first get out there. So many people prevent themselves from actually really getting out there, practicing and getting better at their craft by getting out there and frankly making some mistakes. This is one of the biggest reasons that most online services businesses and companies never make it past the point of maybe a couple $1,000s. And that is a huge, huge deterrent of being successful in this space. Now, in the end, in my opinion, all 3 of these business models can benefit you. The reality is the only way to guarantee that you are uncertain in your financial future is to not start something, right? So whether you choose network marketing, whether you choose e-com, whether you choose online services, the reality is we need to start taking control of our financial future as entrepreneurs. Personally, I love the online coaching and consulting space because of the low barrier to entry and because of the cash flow and lifestyle business you can build and the immense amount of impact that you can have. But it's not for everybody. So you need to think what's gonna be best for you and how to move forward yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, go ahead and click the like button below. And if you have any specific topics that you want me to cover in the future, just go ahead and comment them below and let me know what they might be. And do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you never miss another great video. I'll see you in there.